Okay, so the 22nd problem in the lead code is to generate the parenthesis. Okay, so basically here we will be given the n value. So what does it mean is that we will be, let's say that if it is n is equal to 3, right, it means that we are allowed to open only like exactly 3 open parentheses. Okay, and to match it, like we'll have to close it by 3 close parentheses. Okay, that's what it means. Like we'll be given n and we'll have to try out all the combinations and we'll have to return back that, and that has a result list of that combinations. Okay, here we can see the multiple combinations for n is equal to 3. Okay, so here we can see, right, like I mean here 1 2 3 3 open parentheses and 3 closed parentheses to make it a valid one. Okay, and now before actually jumping onto this code, right, so let's check a few things here. Okay, so here, right, in this condition, what is the problem is n is equal to 3, correct? So let's say that I will open I will open the parenthesis. Okay, 3 parentheses. Okay, and now let's say that I will open one more parenthesis. Okay, this is not correct, right? So we are told to open exactly the 3 open parentheses. We are not supposed to add one more, right? This is not correct. So we can say that close count, right, whatever the close count should always be less than or equal to, sorry, open count should always be less than equal to the number of the n is n. Like I mean, we are supposed to open only 3, right? Open count should always be less than n. Okay, this is one condition we can think of. And the second thing is, let's say that we'll see about the closed count now. Okay, I have opened two for n is equal to 3 only. Okay, I opened 2. Okay, two open bracket, and let's say that I will close it now. I will close this 2. Okay, now we are good, right? This is a valid parenthesis. We have opened the 2 parentheses and we have closed the 2 parentheses. We are good now. Let's say that I will close one more, right? This is not valid, right? Closed, we have only 2 opened it and we have closed it. We are good, but this is kind of extra and making our parenthesis invalid, right? So what does it signify? What does it mean is always close count should always be less than the open count, correct? Here, like let's say that that is what it's valid. That's what is Okay, so these are the two conditions we need to be aware, right? Like whenever we are opening the any bracket, we need to make sure that we are not exceeding the limit, right? We have given the limit as 3, we should not exceeding it. And whenever we are closing the parenthesis, right, we need to make sure that we are not opening more. Like we are not closing more than what we already opened, right? Like we have opened it, opened the 2 parentheses, we should be closing only that. All right, that is one thing. And also, the third thing is here we are basically what we're doing here, we're basically trying out the combinations, right? Like when we actually build a combination, it is nothing but nothing but we can use a backtracking method here, right? When we say backtracking again, like it's a nothing but a recursion, right? When we say recursion, it's a base, we need a base condition there when to stop, correct? Like we'll be going on and we'll need one base condition to stop at some point. Like when do we stop? Ideally, like when we got some result, right, we'll have to stop there. So what would be the base condition here, right? Like let's say that I will have some parenthesis like this. Okay, is this a valid in our case? N is equal to not 3, right? This is still n is equal to 2. It is not a valid one, right? I still need to proceed further, correct? So let's say that I will add one more. What is it actually? 3 6. Okay, I think that was the previously was invalid one. Let's try this. Okay, so here n is equal to 2, right? Like, I mean, we still haven't figured it out, or it is still not complete, right? Even this is not a complete one. So when do we identify it as a final one? Like when open, let's say that we are told to open 3, right? Open 3 brackets. We'll have to check if we have a 3 open bracket, a 3 open count. Yes, we are good. And we have to also check closed one if it is all closed, right? So this is closed, and one more is not closed, right? So in this case, we are not we it means that we have not reached our final answer, right? Let's say that when doing the recursion, when we reach one more, right, so open count is equal to close count and also whatever the count that is been given here, right? At that point it signifies that we have reached the end and we'll have to stop there. We'll have to collect the result and we'll have to return it or whatever, right? This is a base condition. So to summarize, what are the 3 things that we need to be aware here is whenever we open the open bracket, we need to make sure that we don't exceed this limit. Okay, that is one thing. And whenever we are closing the bracket, we need to make sure that we are not adding more, like it should be less than, always less than the open bracket. Let's say that if it is 2 open bracket and if you are trying to add 3 closed, we are trying to close it with the 3 parentheses, that's an invalid. That also we need to make sure. And this is the base condition. We need to make sure that open count, close count, and whatever the count that is being given, it matches. Okay, so now to check the code, right? mm, as we just discussed, so this is a recursion function, backtracking function. Okay, and let's say that when we are starting, when we are going to, this backtracking function will receive how many open parenthesis count, like we have already opened it, and how many closed it, and what is the current combination string. Okay, so now when we start, right, when we start, obviously like open count will be less, right, it will be empty. So close count also will be empty, and what is the string looks will be empty. Okay, right, we'll be starting from here, and now we will try out the combinations. Okay, we have created this result variable, result list. Okay, we'll be appending to it once we reach the base condition. Okay, and this part is about, this is the base condition, like where we have reached the, when we reach the final value, right, as I just discussed, open count should be close count and it should be equal to n, right? When that we can reach that condition, we'll be appending our result and we will be returning back. Okay, and we are not returning any values here, we are just updating the global variable, so we don't have to return or do anything. This we directly have access to this global one. Okay, and this is one thing. And now, right, when we start initially, what we have discussed so far is, when we can add a open bracket, we can add a open bracket when we can add a open bracket when let's say that open count is less than whatever the value that is being given, right? Let's say that currently when we enter this loop, it is 0 is less than 3, that is a valid one, right? We can add a open parenthesis. And also in the next iteration also, it will be like two parentheses, we'll add it, and 3 also, 3 is also good, right? We'll add it. Okay, once we cross this, right, let's say that we cross that 3 is not less than n, right? We cannot add we cannot add open parentheses anymore. So this condition will be skipped, we'll start adding a close parenthesis actually, right? So after this statement, just remember, after this statement, we will be start adding this one, right, in the next. And also what we need to make sure is, this is for the next recursion, we are not modifying the current s, this is for the next recursion, correct? So now what is happening here is, like once we add open the parenthesis, like this condition is exceeded, now this condition will start by executing. Close count is 0 if it is less than 3, so we'll be adding the close parenthesis. Okay, this is how, like we'll be keep on adding our close parenthesis until this is reached. Like I mean, let's say that at some point time, open count, close count will be equal to 3, correct? Like I mean, once all the parentheses are opened and once all the parentheses are closed, we'll be reaching to this point, and then we'll be appending our result. Okay, we'll be appending our result, and we'll be coming back to the point where we actually stopped it. Okay, so now actually to visualize this code, right, what we can do is we can make use of this site, python Okay, we have the code ready here, so let's just visualize how it works. Okay, so now that we are starting here, let's say that we'll be starting with 0. Okay, we'll call this function actually. So open count is 0, close count is 0, and our empty initial string is empty. Okay, now if we just go next, right, basically this is the base condition, we have not reached this condition, that part is skipped, and now open count is 0 and it is less than 3, correct? So this will be executed. Now we'll be backtracking it, and then when we backtrack, like in the next iteration, s value is modified, right? So we are sending s plus this, right, we are sending this plus this. So in the next iteration, s will be like this, and it is still less than 3, right? So we'll just fast forward some steps, we have added one more, and in the next here, so what will happen, it is still, right, s is equal to 2 here, and it is less than n. For the next iteration, we are sending it to the open parenthesis. Okay, so now when we enter, this is 3 is not less than 3, right? This will be skipped, this part will be start executing. So what, when we execute this part, it will basically, we will be sending the for the next iteration with the closed parenthesis. So again, we'll fast forward, we'll be keep on adding the parenthesis. Now we'll be keep on adding the parenthesis. Yeah, so now we have got the parenthesis now. So now we are sending the next iteration, in the final recursion, we have got this parenthesis, right? We have generated it, and now this condition will execute. Now like after the all this recursion, right, we have generated this. Yes, open count is 3 and close count is 3, and this is the string. So now, right, now the base condition will get a chance to execute. So open count is equal to 3, close count is equal to 3, and is also equal to n is equal to 3, right? So in this is a valid combination. So what we'll do is we'll append it to the result, we'll add it to the result, and we can see that result, whatever the value that was defined, right, global, that is getting updated now. Okay, and next, will return back. So now what will happen? So we were added some parentheses here, right? Post that there is nothing to execute. Okay, so it will come back, it will come back to the previous iteration. Okay, see here. Now what is happening? 1 2 3, we return value, what we got is none. Correct, whatever the we just returning nothing, right? We got a return value as none. Okay, now what will happen is we'll have to, it's like a backtracking, like we'll be going back to this state now. Okay, so where one parenthesis was missing. So next, so here, right here, it went like, I mean, we went back to that stack of old stack. Okay, and again we come back to 3, and when the s was equal to 3, we sent the, for the next iteration we sent it the closed one, right? And now if you go back, we will land into this. Correct. So just to visualize this, simplify this, right? Like when we added one iteration, second iteration, and when s was equal to 3, right? After this code, right, after this code there is still something left. Correct. Previously what was happening, backtrack, like, I mean, when we added a close parenthesis, right, it was a closed one, there is nothing to execute. Correct. So it was going back to the whole previous iteration and removing the bracket. Correct. Here when s was equal to 2, right, there is still some code left to execute after s is equal to 2. This is not else, right? If this condition and or else run this condition, it's not like that. After this condition we'll have to also have to check this condition, right? When s is equal to 2, what we have done previously was we have added one more thing, right? We have added that one more 3, we called this function again with the 3 s plus this thing, right? S is equal to 3 open parenthesis. But this time that won't be the case, there is some code still left here to execute. So that's what will happen now. So this code will execute and close count is 0, right? We can see here close count is 0 and open count is 2, it is less than, right? So we'll be start adding the parenthesis this time. See, like, I mean, previously in the first iteration, right, we have added one more open parenthesis, but this time when we backtrack it, we will be closing the second parenthesis itself. By this way we will be making the different combinations work. Yeah, that is it. Maybe we can just actually play around in this side to get the actually how, to make to get a good understanding of how this code is working. Yeah, if you just go to the last step, so this is how it looks like. I mean, this is the result here. Here we can see the full result here actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.